The instant the brand collapsed, I stood 10 feet away, clutching a bag of organic kale. My partner, Maya, was in her zone, illuminated by a ring light's glow, her phone perched on the kitchen counter, chatting vibrantly with the thousands tuned into her TikTok live stream. I'd just returned from the grocery store, arms laden with bags. She glanced back at me, a spark of irritation in her eyes, before pivoting back to her viewers with a radiant grin. Her closest friend and professional cheerleader, Caroline, sat just off camera, tracking comments on a laptop. "You guys are hilarious," Maya said, reading a comment aloud. A user, StylinSteph22, had asked, "Is that your boyfriend back there? He's so ordinary." Caroline burst out laughing. Maya leaned toward her phone, her voice dropping to a theatrical whisper meant for all to hear. "Be kind, everyone," she said, barely hiding a smirk. "Not everyone can be a 10. Honestly, sometimes I feel like I'm doing a public service, you know? People keep asking why I'm settling for less." The comment section on Caroline's screen, visible from my spot, erupted. A flood of laughing emojis, skull emojis, and remarks like "OMG, spill the details," and "Maya, you're ruthless," raced by at breakneck speed. Caroline roared with laughter, nearly toppling her chair. Maya reveled in it, her smile growing wider. She just tossed me to her online pack of wolves for a fleeting boost in engagement. I didn't budge. I didn't speak. I stood in the doorway, groceries in hand, my expression blank. In my head, a switch flipped, not an emotional one, but a professional one. I'm a brand architect. I craft narratives, images, and entire careers from scratch. In that moment, I diagnosed the fatal flaw in our biggest project. The Maya brand, she just publicly, irreversibly, and lethally sabotaged her own product. My task now was to oversee the recall. I calmly walked to the fridge, unpacked the groceries, and tucked the kale into the crisper. I didn't disrupt her stream or confront her. A live audience of thousands wasn't the venue for a strategic discussion. They saw me as a background figure in her performance. They didn't know I was the mastermind behind it, and I was about to end the show. That night after she was asleep, I retreated to my office. I didn't pack in a rage. I activated a pre-planned exit strategy. I gathered my essential tools, laptops, hard drives, personal documents. Then I began methodically dismantling the digital empire I'd spent 2 years building for her. Let me be crystal clear. Our relationship wasn't a love story, it was a business partnership. I met Maya 2 years ago when she was a server with a magnetic charm and roughly 700 followers. I saw potential, not in her specifically, but in the concept of her. She was a blank slate, the most valuable asset for a brand strategist. I offered her a deal. I'd take her on as my sole client, gratis. I'd invest my time, expertise, and significant personal funds to transform her into a thriving lifestyle influencer. I'd manage the strategy, tech, sponsorships, content planning, and analytics. Her role was to be the face, to shine on camera and follow my blueprint. Our romantic relationship was a piece of the brand strategy, an aspirational couple narrative that sells. It was a business deal with romantic benefits, not a love story. I wasn't a fool funding her dreams. I was the founder and CEO of her career. She was the product, and she'd just proven herself defective. So at 2:00 a.m. in my office, I launched the termination process. Update 1***. The first 24 hours focused on extraction and damage control. My primary goal was to untangle all my assets from the failing brand. Maya slept deeply, which gave me a tactical edge. Before leaving that night, I reclaimed my property. The professional-grade camera she used for videos, the high-end lighting equipment, the MacBook Pro I'd purchased for editing, all mine, provided as part of our venture. I packed them neatly into Pelican cases. I also took the server hosting her personal website, a polished portfolio I designed from the ground up. I was gone before dawn. I left no note. An emotional gesture wasn't part of a corporate dissolution. I relocated to a new apartment I'd kept on standby for 6 months, a corporate lease under my company's name. A savvy strategist always has a backup plan. From my new headquarters, I began phase 2, the digital dismantling. First, the website. At 7:00 a.m., mayatheglowup.com went dark. I replaced the sleek homepage with a plain white page bearing a single line in simple black text. This brand is no longer under its founding strategist's management. No drama, no explanation, just a cold corporate statement that would baffle her followers and alarm her brand partners. Next, the sponsorships. Over the past year, I'd personally secured 6 high-value, long-term deals with fashion, beauty, and wellness companies. Her brand's main revenue stream. I had direct contacts for the marketing executives at each. That morning I drafted precise, identical emails. Subject: urgent strategic update regarding the Maya brand asterisk. Dear executives, name, please be informed that as of today, I have officially stepped down as the brand strategist and manager for Maya. As the creator of her brand identity and the primary negotiator of our partnership, I feel obligated to note that I can no longer guarantee the strategic alignment or brand safety of her future content. For context, I've attached an 8-second timestamped clip from her latest public live stream. The clip, naturally, was her dating down remark. I sent the first email at 9 a.m. and watched the dominoes start to fall. While that unfolded, I targeted the content. Many of Maya's top videos used background music, not random tracks, but music I'd commercially licensed through my agency, a deliberate move to retain control. At 11 a.m., I filed formal copyright takedown notices with TikTok and Instagram for every video using my licensed music. These weren't petty flags. I was revoking the brand's right to use my assets. Each notice was legitimate, legally airtight, and backed by documentation. Finally, I addressed the social media accounts. I'd set up her profiles using a master email I controlled. I couldn't seize her accounts. That would be illegal, but I could remove my administrative safeguards. I changed the master email's password and enabled multi-factor authentication tied only to my devices. I didn't lock her out of TikTok or Instagram, but I'd stripped away her safety net. If she lost access, recovery was impossible. The digital empire I'd built for her now rested on a fragile foundation. By noon, my work was complete. I'd reclaimed my assets, notified stakeholders, and strategically undermined the brand's infrastructure. I blocked Maya's number but not Caroline's, knowing she'd be the first to reach out as the empire crumbled. I made coffee and waited. Update 2 ***. The first message from the falling empire arrived at 3:17 p.m. that day, a text from Caroline. What's going on? Maya's website is acting weird, and 3 of her top videos got yanked for copyright issues. Are you behind this? I responded with one sentence. I'm executing a brand termination. Her reply was a string of question marks followed by, Maya's losing it. She's been calling you. Fix this. That skincare brand just emailed her about some video you sent. I didn't respond. The first sponsor had made contact. The plan was moving faster than expected. The next 48 hours were a cascade of consequences, orchestrated remotely. I tracked it via a burner Instagram account. Maya's initial response was sheer panic. She posted a tearful Instagram story. Hey everyone, I'm dealing with some technical glitches with my account and my website's down. Working on it, thanks for your patience. She tried to seem in control, unaware she had none, but the copyright strikes kept coming. By day's end, a dozen of her top videos were gone. Her follower count, which I'd meticulously grown through targeted campaigns, stalled, then dropped. Her engagement rate tanked as the algorithm penalized her for deleted content. Then the sponsors began to back out. The skincare company sent an email pausing their partnership pending review. The dating down clip violated the positive and uplifting clause I'd embedded in every contract. By the next day, 2 more brands followed. These were thousands of dollars in monthly revenue gone. Maya's content quality plummeted. Without my camera, lighting, or editing laptop, she was back to filming on her phone in dim lighting. Her videos looked amateurish, a stark downgrade for her audience. She tried to keep up her vibrant persona, but the strain was evident. She was a CEO forced to work the factory floor, clueless about the machinery. Caroline, the devoted friend, turned out to be a fair-weather ally. A mutual contact told me she was pulling away. She'd loved the perks of being tied to a successful influencer, free products, exclusive events, borrowed clout. With the brand failing, Maya was no longer valuable. The desperate calls to my phone escalated from angry to pleading voicemails. I ignored them all. The formal end of our romantic contract required an in-person meeting. The final blow to the brand came on day 2. TikTok's copyright violation system is mostly automated. Multiple valid strikes in a short period trigger a review. My takedown notices, all legitimate, worked as planned. At roughly 4 p.m., on the second day, the Maya Theglow Up TikTok account, with its 1.2 million followers, was permanently banned for repeated intellectual property violations. Final update ***. A week has passed since I launched the brand recall. The final act unfolded as the post's title foretold. 2 days after her account's deletion, my buzzer sounded. It was Maya. I let her up, wanting her to see my new apartment. Larger, cleaner, more minimalist than our old place, the home of a man free of burdens. She looked drained, her face pale and swollen from tears. Her designer clothes seemed like a costume she no longer had the energy to wear. She broke down the moment she saw me. "You have to fix this," she sobbed. "Everything's gone, my account, my sponsors, everything." "You did this?" I offered no seat, no tissue. I stood, arms crossed. "I didn't do anything, Maya," I said, my voice steady. "I simply reclaimed what was mine, my equipment, my website, my licensed music. The brand was a joint venture. You were the talent, I was the strategist. When the talent publicly humiliated the strategist and proved herself a flawed product, the venture ended. I just unwound our partnership. It was a joke," she cried. "A stupid joke, I didn't mean it." "You conducted a cost-benefit analysis live before thousands," I replied. "You decided a fleeting spike in engagement was worth more than my dignity and our partnership. You miscalculated catastrophically." She stared, a hint of her old defiance flickering. "So you destroyed my life because your ego was bruised." "You're missing the point," I said, stepping closer. "My feelings don't matter. This wasn't personal, it was business. You weren't my girlfriend who messed up. You were a toxic brand, a product yielding negative returns. My job is to manage risk and cut losses. In that moment, Maya, you weren't a person to me. You were a failing asset. So I wrote you off." I walked to my new desk and picked up a single sheet. A detailed invoice listing the value of the equipment I'd provided, the market rate for my branding and management services over 2 years, the cost of the website, totaling over $200,000. "This is what I invested in you," I said, handing it to her. "I don't expect payment. I just want you to see the scale of the asset you recklessly destroyed. You didn't just lose a boyfriend, you lost a corporation built for your success." She looked at the paper, then at me, finally grasping the truth. She hadn't been dating down, she'd been carried to the top by a man she never truly saw. "I have nothing," she whispered. "I know," I said. I opened the door. "The market has corrected itself." "Goodbye, Maya." She stumbled out, sobbing, the invoice still in her hand. I closed the door and felt nothing, just the quiet satisfaction of a project closed. Her social media presence is gone. Her sponsors are gone. Her friends are gone. She's back to being a server with 700 followers. My revenge wasn't loud or cruel. It was silent, precise, and total. I didn't ruin her life. I reclaimed mine. And when I did, I took hers with it.